One of the most important mathematical concepts is place value. This is something you'll begin learning about in kindergarten and first grade all the way up through high school. It's important that you know how to accurately read and write numbers as well. You can purchase one of these flip charts at any educational supply store or through the internet. Many classrooms also have them that you can take home. Where these are great is it helps you read the number. So you can see that the word is written right below it. Now, before I try and read this number, I want to point out that the decimal point, we don't say point, we say and. So this number is 1,391 and 53 hundredths. Now I want to talk a little about the decimals. That is the area that gives most people a hard time. The nice thing is we can easily change this. So I'm going to change it. Instead of 5/10, I'm going to say 1/10. Instead of 3 hundredths, I'm going to say no hundredths. So now our number would be 1,391 and 1/10. Let's change it again. This time I want 6 hundredths. 1,391 and 16 hundredths. In this case, now I'm going to reset the rest of these so we can really focus just on the decimals. Here, we're just going to say 36 hundredths. Now, I want to say larger numbers because there's more digits, but really they're not larger, they're smaller. The greater the decimal, the smaller the number. So I'm going to add some thousandths. Here, I have 368 thousandths. So you can see I'm reading the numbers across, and the place that I'm ending at is what name we're giving it. So these are thousandths. So you can see that the number 368 thousandths is very different than the number 368 thousandths. I want you to notice where the decimal places are in each number. In 368 thousandths, our decimal place is right here. And so all of these are our zeros. Let's look at 368 thousandths. We have zeros here and the decimal point way down here. You can see that these are very different numbers. So it's important that you clearly enunciate so that your listener knows which number you're talking about. Another important concept that you're going to come across when dealing with number sense is rounding. Take this number 254. I'm going to round this number to the nearest tens digit. Now, when I say that, I want to underline the number I'm rounding. So to the nearest tens, this is my tens digit, so that's where I'm underlining. The way I round is I look to the right and see, is this number 5 or more? If so, I round up. The other way you can think of it is go, 254. Is this closer to 250 or is it closer to 260? So kind of visualize it on a number line. And because this is less than 4, we're going to trade this and change it into a 0. So it's 250. Basically, rounding says, what number is this closer to? 254 is closer to 250 than 260. That's why when we round it to the nearest 10, we get 250. Let me show you another example, rounding to the tens. If we have the number 378, and I again want to round this to the nearest 10, I'm going to underline where I'm rounding the tens and look to the right. Now this number is 5 or higher, so we round up. 378 is closer to 380 than it is to 370. So 378 rounded to the nearest tens is 380. Let me give you an example with a larger number. Let's use the number 3,965,312. I want to round this number to, let's say, the 10,000 place, the nearest 10,000. I'm going to underline that number. Now we look to the right. Is it 5 or higher? It is, so we round up. So this number is going to become 3,970,000. Notice the rest of the numbers, these digits, we turned into zeros because we're rounding to that nearest whole number, to the nearest whole 10,000s, which is why we found the 10,000s and the rest we filled in with zeros. So now I want to round using decimals. So let's look at a number that uses decimals. Let's say 39 and 524 thousandths. Remember, we need to enunciate so our listener knows what number we're talking about. 39 and 524 thousandths. If I want to round this number to the hundredths place, I'm going to underline this, look to the right. Is it 5 or higher? It's not, so it becomes a 0, and the 2 stays the same. So this, rounded to the nearest hundredths, becomes 39 and 52 hundredths.